Sergey Brin and Larry Page of Google.
Google's used over 100 million times a day now.
100 million times? Do you get a penny a time?
I wish.
It's Webby time again!
Hollywood's got the Oscars, TV has the Emmys, so what does the World Wide Web have to say for itself?
All acceptance speeches must be 5 words. That's it, 5 words long, okay?
Ariana Huffington, the Meryl Streep of the Webbies.
I didn't kill newspapers, okay?
Sometimes geeks can be chic.
I'm a Webby.
Nude selfies till I die.
We are here tonight, gathered to honor those who have achieved the inscrutable triumph of winning the internet.
How am I on time? Oh, shit.
Can anyone fix my computer?
I know Jerry's 5-word speech. It's going to be, I can buy this place.
Why 5 words? It doesn't...
Thank God Conan got promoted.
He's just a funny motherfucker, isn't he?
I got 5 on it.
That's enough! You guys know damn well that my childhood dream has always been to deliver a Webby Award acceptance speech.
This here requires no filter.
Everything you think is true.
The internet is the most powerful megaphone we have to make sure that that message is heard.
Women, look what we did!
Guts, heart, passion, drive, Wi-Fi.
The Webbies set the standard for what is best on the web.
Only get 5 words. Shit, that was 5.
Bye-bye.
That's the show, everybody.
Thanks so much for coming.
Good night!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Beyond Pixels and our first ever show dedicated to the Webby Awards. My name is Dan Barry.
Hello, and I'm Nodo, and I'm very excited about today's show. Overall, Beyond Pixels' main goal is to showcase insights about Web3 Metaverse and social gaming and UGC gaming platforms. And I'm so excited today we will be diving deep into Webby Awards and how actually interested companies or individuals can be winning the Webby Awards. So I'm very excited having the show, and back to you then.
All right, so joining us today are Claire Graves, president of the Webby Awards. Welcome to the show, Claire.
Thanks so much.
We also have the legendary Josh Neuman, executive vice president and president of entertainment at Superleague. Welcome to the show.
Hi, amazing. Great to be here. And then really quickly about like myself, I'm co-founder and CEO of the MetaView, which is largest gamified experiences marketplace. We always help the gaming studios find the brands who will be willing to integrate into their games. And then I'm happy sharing the stage together with amazing winners, gaming studios and full-scale studios today. And back to you then. Would be happy to hear from your side.
Yeah, we also want to make sure that we're noting Blake Behnam also is joining us today. Blake is co-founder and head of creative at Sawhorse Productions. Welcome to the show, Blake.
Thanks so much.
So what I'd like to do starting would be to welcome to the show Claire. And what I'd like, if you could, Claire, introduce both yourself and if you could give our listeners who may not be that familiar with the Webby Awards, if you could give them a bit of an introduction to what the Webby Awards is all about.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, let me say thank you so much for hosting this show. It's so fun to have a whole show focused on the Webby Awards. I'll give a little introduction to myself. I'm Claire Graves. I've been living in New York City helping to run the Webby Awards for a little over a decade, I like to say, although I have to admit it's getting closer to 2 decades than just one of those decades. But I started my career in London. I lived in the UK for about 11 years. I started my career making digital websites, digital communications at an agency called Poke. Went to university up in Edinburgh, but I think most of you hopefully can tell I grew up in South Australia. I always like to get that out first because it's, I think, important to explain the accent. But yeah, I've been running the Webby Awards for nearly 14 years now. And the Webby Awards is the biggest and the most prestigious award for the internet. We recognize everything on the internet. We started 28 years ago. We just had the 28th annual Webbies. And so we started recognizing websites. And then as the internet has expanded, so have we. So now, today, in 2024, we recognize websites and video and advertising and social and mobile applications, and then of course games and metaverse, virtual reality, and AI. And the Webbies is judged by an academy of people. It's the International Academy of Digital Arts and Sciences. It's about 3,000 people who live all over the world, and they help select the nominees and the winners. And then each year we put our winners out to the people to choose their winner as well. It's called the People's Voice Campaign. This year we got a little over 2 million votes from all over the world. And that's really our way of adhering to the open internet as well.
Cool. 2 million. That's impressive.
Now let's move over to Blake and Sawhorse Productions. If you can give us a quick introduction about yourself and then what Sawhorse Production is doing would be amazing.
Blake Behnam, head of creative at Sawhorse. And, we're about 12 years old. We started as a very traditional production company, but I think in the last 12 years, we've kind of evolved to a multi-platform creative agency. So really kind of servicing the 360 model that I think is kind of where a lot of the communication is going. And Sawhorse, we do linear, we do social, we do streaming, and then Web3 has just been this amazing tool where we found UGC platforms and generative AI. It's just more tools to tell really cool stories. And ultimately, with a filmmaking background, our goal is always to kind of tell great stories, connect brands and audiences or artists and titles with audiences. So our curiosity really is at the heart of any technological tool that we can learn and we can kind of infuse into our storytelling is our kind of North Star. And that's kind of what's been great to kind of be recognized this year by the Webbies, but also, and we were kind of chatting about this a little, on Tuesday when we all talked this is just continuing to evolve. It's moving so fast. So it's just a really exciting space to be in right now to kind of do what we do and kind of find new ways to do it.
Cool. Yeah, totally with you on that. Josh, over to you. Same question.
Hi, Josh Neuman. I head up entertainment at Superleague, and we are also a development studio similar to Sawhorse in that we're building all types of immersive experiences in what we consider to be this interactive web. We're primarily focused on building in Roblox and Fortnite. That's our core business. We handle strategy. When we work with our partners, we work with all kinds of partners across music, which is my background. I can talk about that a little bit more. Film and TV, sports, brands, all kinds of IP. And we collaborate to figure out what the strategy should be given the current landscape and maybe the future landscape, and how they can integrate with this massive youth culture audience. And we're thrilled to be a part of the Webbies this year. That was a great honor for us, and love that we won for working on music and, with one of our favorite artists. And I guess we'll talk about that in a little while, but it's great to be here. Thank you.
No, thanks all of you for that. So let's get into it. Let's start having some fun. Yeah. So Claire, we had started the show by showing a kind of like a reel of some of the highlights over the years. So any particular moments from the 2024 Webby Award show that stands out in your mind?
I mean, this year's show was just like an incredibly special experience. I think, I've been to a lot of Webby Awards. It was one of those that's definitely up there in the top 5. And the thing that really stood out to us when we were putting the show together is that there was just like a really incredible group of exemplary women that we recognized this year. So we had Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Her podcast was our podcast of the year. It's called Wiser Than Me. And it is her talking to women and learning from older women. And I highly recommend it. It's an incredible listen, but also you can learn so much from that podcast. We had a woman called Madison Tulvin, who is a creator and influencer. She won Best Influencer. And she is like representing, people of all disabilities. She's an amazing, amazing woman. We had Laverne Cox, who won for her podcast, which of course tells the stories of LGBTQ people. And then our Lifetime Achievement winner was Kara Swisher, who is, total badass reporter, journalist, and media person. And we were super, super proud to recognize Kara. So it was really like kind of like confluence of all these incredible women that just made it very special, particularly to me this year.
Wow, that's amazing. And then I'll go with second question with Claire again. We all are excited who are in this immersive metaverse and Web3 space. That new category was added this year to the Webby Awards. And then we're again celebrating this all together with the Beyond Pixel show also. And I wanted to ask 2 questions, right? First, what was the challenges for the Webby Awards adding this category? And how you guys decided to add this category, right? What facts lead you there? So would be happy to know, and I'm sure our listeners would be also happy to understand, and then celebrate this all together. So,
well, I could give you, if it's helpful or interesting to you guys, I could give you a little bit of a history with where we have got to with this category. Because one of the things that I think is really fascinating about the Webby Awards is that it kind of marks each year in history. And so it really shows the development of where technology is going. And then more importantly to us, what we think is most interesting is how people use technology as well. Would that be interesting?
Yes.
So I think it's probably like maybe even like 10 years ago, we started recognizing like virtual reality. And we introduced those categories. We worked with a guy who's a real expert in this space. His name's Chris Milk. And he's like, he started as an incredible kind of video, like just like music video director, and then started to get really interactive. And some of you might remember the project that he did with the Arctic monkeys, which was called Home. And it was, you plugged in your postcode or your street address of where you lived when you were growing up. And it kind of like flew over Google Maps, and you could take it with the song, kind of like bring you into where you grew up. It was very sentimental. And then he kind of like started a production company with another guy called Aaron Coblin. And so they were like the leaders in virtual reality for a long time. Now they have a company called Superhuman, which maybe some of you use to work out every day. And so we had been recognizing like virtual categories for a really long time, but then the pandemic hit, and a lot of the work that was happening, like money being spent to do events in the real world, went to the internet. And so in 2020, we introduced like virtual categories and brought those virtual reality categories into a kind of like dedicated space of its own. And then we started to really see like super interesting work happening within the metaverse, as you say, like Roblox and within gaming as well. And so those categories have expanded as the internet and that work is expanding as well. So this year, that set of categories also encompassed AI. So it's now AI, metaverse, and virtual. And the challenge for us with the AI part of it all is that the work is so broad right now. So there's so many different types of AI work that's happening at the moment. And so we had to be like super broad with the categories to be able to get and celebrate all of that work. And then one of the new challenges is, judging within the metaverse work and making sure that everybody, of course, has the right equipment to get the work judged.
Yeah, we will get to this topic also pretty shortly, but it's so exciting to see like how Webby Awards is reflecting the development of the internet, and then how we are moving into Web3, right? So Web 3.0. So it's amazing. Thanks, Claire, for detailed answers. And back to you, Dan.
Yeah. So now that we've kind of like delved into the category itself, what I'd love to do is to have our two studio guests to introduce their projects that actually won the awards. So Josh, why don't we start with you and just kind of give us a little bit of a background. And I think we're going to have a video playing while you kind of get started, so people can actually see the award-winning experience.
Drum roll. Winner is coming on the screen.
Thank you. So for this program, we collaborated directly with Imagine Dragons and their management and Interscope Records, their record label, to put together an event that would celebrate their historic live concert from Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, where they grew up and it's their hometown. So they had this massive documentary that was going to roll out celebrating this moment for them. And so they wanted to reach the Gen A, Gen Z audience to be able to communicate that. So what we did was we created a gamified experience based on everything to do with Imagine Dragons in Las Vegas. So as you're seeing in the background, this is like a Las Vegas world that we created, as well as things that are just endemic to Imagine Dragons, and made it totally gamified. And then we plugged in some of the best songs from that documentary that kids would be able to watch, while also interacting with the gamification. And then there was contesting to get virtual goods. And I think we reached almost 2 million people over the course of a weekend. Wow. And both Hulu and Interscope were really happy with the indirect and direct marketing they saw from the world that we built. And that's a very quick overview of it, but we felt like it was a great extension to really be able to bring people into their world the way that they wanted it. And we made like a backstage green room that had everything that you'd normally see in their green room, including like this weird monkey that they always have there. I don't know why. A giant pile of Dan's shoes, old posters. And just like if you're a fan of the band, like that was a really fantastic place to be that you never could be in real life, probably, So, and I think it was the first time there was ever like a music documentary celebrated and brought to life we were very happy to bring it to the world.
No,
that's super cool. I love that.
And then it uses like, it's so nice way of tell the stories, like with this in these UGC platforms, and engage with the communities. It was never possible before. It's very, very exciting. And then later on, we'll be having a couple of questions like what it takes to get the Webby Awards nomination. But let's go to Blake with the same question. I can't wait to see the winning experience of the Sawhorse production. So Blake, floor is yours.
Yeah, thanks guys. We are, we won for best brand integration for our Fenty Beauty and Skin project. And so for us, I think the idea there was we really wanted to bring the brand to Roblox. We wanted them to connect in a really authentic way, but we also wanted the brand to be the center of this story. And, that's always a delicate balance. Like, how do we kind of create what the brand looks and feels like and really gives an audience an immersive experience without the brand taking over the narrative? And so to kind of run into the fire, I'd say we chose to kind of create an entire world made up of the things that go into their products. So that you saw the rivers and other things. And then ultimately a competition of co-creation where the audience gets to make their own gloss bomb, and they get to pick the title, they get to name it, they get to pick the bottle, the cap, the ingredients that go in it, and they get to submit it to the Sephora where it would be voted on by the community. And ultimately the top 400, because we broke it out into each week, so there'd be 100 each week on the leaderboard. Those top 400 at the end of the month went to Rihanna, where she got to choose her favorite, which was this Fenty Ice, which is very cool. And then currently, we're working on developing the IRL product that will be in an actual Sephora store. So kind of the full loop of being able to bring their brand to life in this totally imaginative way, as we see the Willy Wonkification of Fenty, which is awesome because, their whole mantra is beauty for all. And I think that's really what the core concept here was, like, how do we bring this to the community and let them be a part of this? But also, what does their brand look like? What does heat feel like? And kind of trying to create that was just an awesome opportunity because they have such a strong brand and a great presence, but what it felt like visually and how it kind of came to life in that immersive way was really cool. And, I think what works here and something we're always excited about is, like, there was value and there was education as you kind of go through the orange groves and as you dive into the castor oil river. Like, you are learning about the products and you are learning their recipes, but all of that is gamified and it's all unlocking the ability to go and make something and actually see it kind of on the shelf digitally. And then, for a chance Rihanna gets to weigh in and help you take it to the finish line. So that was very, very exciting and a cool way to kind of really make the brand the story, but let the community really participate and guide the narrative.
No, I have a 16-year-old daughter. She loved that experience. So
that's
kudos,
awesome.
Kudos to you guys for that. So further on that then, what was the reasoning for making the decision for entering this particular experience to the Webby Awards?
To me?
Yeah. To you, Blake.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Sorry. I think it's that, like, this was, and Josh, you probably deal with this all the time too. It's like each project has a balance, and in branded, it's like, how do we want to show up authentically? And in this case, branding was the entire concept. So the category for best brand integration made a lot of sense, and we felt that it was, we were honest about what it was. It was packed with value and education. And literally the product is built into the environment in these, like, massive ways, and there's sculptures and there's, so it was kind of undeniable how much branding was in there, but I think it was done in that Wonkification, in that Charlie and the Chocolate Factory kind of way where, users could get lost in some of those moments, and kind of it all starts to blend together. So that felt like just such a natural fit, and it was something we were excited to kind of tell a really deep brand story, and kind of, in the artwork, we were just thought it was so beautiful the way some of that stuff came together. So we were excited to kind of go hard on brand.
You were a massive winner in that category, so congratulations for you guys on that. So Josh, over to you. If you could kind of give us again the reasoning for your, and I know you're totally into music, so the reasoning for entering this particular the Imagine Dragons experience.
Yeah, I think that for us, the collaboration that we had with the group was so organic, and it was like they were on so many calls with us as well as their management, and it was like every piece of this was sort of based on the background of the band and what they really wanted. And so for us to have been able to bring that to life was really exciting. Like, for example, we created this game that we're always trying to create mechanics that are going to be endemic to whatever community we're building in. So for Roblox, we created this sort of like, it was inspired by games that are really popular on the platform where you like destroy a boat or like multiple boats. Like that's like a really popular game. So we were like, oh, we really like that mechanic. We're going to create all of these different types of like explosives that will be able to destroy these figures. And all of the figures were inspired by their music videos. So for Bones, the song Bones, we created a skeleton. For a number of others, it was like whatever was like, there was like a weird puppet in Radioactive that we created. So it was like bringing to life like the in real world identity that they have, and to put that into this fantastical world. Like, I love what Blake said, about trying to create these fantastical like Willy Wonka moments. I think Sawhorse does a great job, and I think we aspire to do so as well, of taking a platform that is totally virtual and not looking at it as creating an in real life virtual twin of that world, but really being like, you know what, there are no rules here. We can create whatever we want, and to be able to articulate that with partners and to be able to have that kind of dialogue was and collaboration was great. And then to be able to bring it to the Webbies and see if they would consider it, in their music and entertainment category, and looking at all the other great experiences that also made it in there was, we were honored to be acknowledged for that work.
Well, I love it. I love it. I love it. So, well done, and I think you definitely deserve to win that. So congrats on that.
Josh, you said the band you were able to work with the band to kind of put it together.
Yeah, they're pretty serious gamers.
Okay,
in fact,
cool. I was going to ask.
Yeah, they are making like a console game as well. Like we're not involved in it, but they're pretty deep in it, and they get really involved in their creative. They don't phone it in, and honestly, I think that we've worked directly with every artist that we've done a music experience for. I don't know if we've been lucky in that way, or given that I've kind of come from an artist management background in music, I'm sort of like maybe a comfortable person to sort of draw that out. But I don't think it's me. I think that we've just been lucky enough that the artists that we worked with and the way that we sort of approached it from the beginning is like, this is your blank canvas here. We're just here to try to facilitate a vision and also sort of share with you what could possibly be done. So yeah, we have had a lot of involvement from talent. We've been really lucky.
That's awesome.
And that's sort of like for both of you, that's why why it works, right? Because they're building it for the fans, and they're the ones with the relationship with the fans. And so they know what, like Rihanna knows that if she's involved in picking the one that's going to eventually end up in Sephora, then the fans are going to want to participate. And those Easter eggs of the monkey in the green room is amazing to be able to give that to the fans, right?
I know, it kind of gives me goosebumps. Like you feel like you'll feel it when it's not there more than anything, right? When it feels like the management team put something together, it's like it's just there's a barrier, and yeah, and we've with Elton John and other artists, we've been just beyond fortunate for the same, and like that connection just even makes development so fun. Like it's like some of the best days at work.
So similar to like the Imagine Dragons being was Rihanna quite involved in the Fenty project as well?
So, their team is amazing and she is incredibly busy. So it was certainly not it wasn't the involvement that I think maybe Imagine Dragons had, but I will say that everything was intensely vetted and iterative together with her and her team. So it was such a collaborative effort. And I think that, so many of the folks on her end are so in tune to the brand and to what the needs are. And then, and her involvement was very much, to be the act 3, right? Like she kind of brought the story full circle and helped us amplify it on social. So she had a very specific role in it. And I think, and honored that and really showed up for it for sure.
That's cool.
Well,
I didn't like at the beginning. I think I probably didn't set up how hard it is to win a Webby award. I maybe didn't set that up. So I just wanted to give that context to the audience as well. This year we got 13,000 entries from all over the world. And
how many?
13,000.
Oh, wow.
And only 2% goes on to win. And so just a huge kudos to you both, because it's really hard. And it's really hard to make the work. It's really hard to get the judges' nod as well. So I just wanted to make sure the audience really knows how difficult it is to get to that place as well.
So kind of following up on that, Claire. So early on, you had kind of indicated you have a huge number of people who are kind of involved in judging, and I think it's both the nominations and then the final judging. So in the case of Superleague and Sawhorse, how are those type of entries judged? I'm just kind of curious. What is the judging process?
Yeah, so there's 2 rounds of judging because there is obviously so much work. So you have to round it out. Otherwise, you're never going to get through it all. So we have 2 rounds. There is an associate level of judging. And what they do is they score the work based on criteria. So it's execution and content and strategy and brand integration. And then the work that is scored the best goes on to the next level of judging, and that's our executive level of judging. So they're the folks that, they spend 3 weeks during March selecting the nominees and their Webby winner. And they are just from that shortlist that's created with the top work, they're selecting the 5 nominees. And then it's scored for the
Sorry guys, I'm having some huge problems on the internet.
It's okay. We got
you. Hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
I know what's happening is mobile data and then Wi-Fi. It's just stopped working on the go. I was following some questions. It was freezing, but then if I will be freezing, please take on. So.
Okay.
Just working.
Anyway, Claire, go ahead. I'm sorry. Sorry to interrupt.
So then the five nominees are selected, and then the winner with the one that is scored the most ones basically is the winner. And then we put the 5 nominees out for the people to choose. But we also have a phase. It takes us a couple of weeks where we have KPMG audit the judging, and they're counting the tabulation to make sure that the tabulation is all above board as well. So it's it's a really huge thing to get either the Webby win or the People's Voice win, because it's a really difficult thing to do.
All right, cool. So,
hey,
cool. Mike and Josh,
awesome.
That makes your awards stand out even more. So kudos to you for that. So the nature of the space that we're in, it's constantly changing. One of you guys, if not both, had kind of mentioned that early on. So what I think would be kind of interesting is to start diving into some of the stuff that you guys are working. Obviously the both of those projects were done last year, and in this space, it's 1 month is like a year or whatever it seems like anyway. So what are you guys working on right now? And Blake, why don't we go ahead and start with you?
Well, we're working. I mean, a lot of Roblox projects, and right now it's definitely a place where we love building in it. We have really kind of great deep bonds with the community, and it's where so much of the audience is. So there's several things kind of happening there, and then generative AI has been really really exciting and interesting, and we've done a couple projects where we're kind of using it for brands to kind of tell different stories, and just as a curious creative, kind of learning about AI and hearing the chatter and all those things, and then actually implementing in the creative has just been something that has been just shockingly rewarding. It is not and I know, Claire, you were saying like it's just being used in so many ways, and so we're kind of using it as a tool to tell stories, but really like no fear of replacement. I think that like the work, the work we're doing it's so like it's kind of just been really exciting to adapt it into a workflow and be able to use it as ideas. But so yeah, this is something that real world commerce on Roblox, which we rolled out with Walmart 2 weeks ago. It's just it's a very kind of test and learn. It's a small 3 items the creator sourced from Walmart, and then they made those as UGC items. So you get a virtual twin if you buy it through Walmart. This was just scratching the surface of what this powerful thing is going to be. So real world commerce is awesome. Immersive ads, I will geek out on this forever, so I'll try to keep it tight. But ultimately, like brands don't need to build huge experiences. They can show up with ads that are immersive and have value and could be in the biggest games. And we know that, and I think it's part of brands' media plans. But this is an example that we did for Hilton Honors, where we did a 1-for-1 recreation of their television campaign as in CGI as Roblox characters. And so like this is a little sampling of how we can, for TikTok, we have an approach that we make it native to the platform. YouTube creators, we have an approach on how we do branded content. Like what's exciting is bringing that to Roblox and really starting to integrate the audience and showing up kind of authentically and working that into the creative. I can go on forever. And then, tying digital experiences to physical experiences. Lamborghini did this with this golden bullhead that was UGC, and we sold 3 of them for $17,000, which is a lot. But what you got was a trip to the factory, and you got to take so that UGC really had value, and the fans that could went to Italy and met, got to get in the cars and got to meet, tour the factory. So it was just so cool to kind of use one experience to have like real world value and real world experiences to see how those two connect. And it's something that I think is our probably number one initiative is like, and I think for brands that get to start to see a return, like all of those pieces, the immersive ads, custom ads tailored to the platform, tailored to the audience, tailored to the community, real world value, real world kind of takeaway, and then being able to commerce on platforms. So those are the 3 things that are like so exciting.
Wow.
Thanks. Super exciting. Glad you were able to share those.
Love that.
And I know you've got more stuff that you're working on.
Yeah.
Too, so.
And then I think I'm back. And then thanks, Blake. It's so exciting. I always mention this, like back then in 2022, when both Dan and me were speaking at the Web3 conference, we were both using like 5 brands case studies. Everybody was using that, right? And then now it's a Webby Award show. We are showing the winning experiences. Everything looks so great and beautiful. And not only some types of brands, only fashion and beauty, as it was before. Now we've seen Lamborghini and many others, like which Blake was showing, which means that this industry is moving. And then when we were talking about the 360 marketing activities, now it's immersive is added into it, right? So you can connect physical with virtual world, and it's so exciting. And which leads me to the question to Josh, right? So what you are excited about, what you are looking, what you can share for 2024, and then it would be great to get your thoughts about it also.
Sure. I love what Blake showed. I mean, they're doing incredible work. exciting to see. Similarly, I think that, in the work that we're doing in Roblox and Fortnite, one of the things that I think our thinking has sort of changed from 2023 to 2024, we've been making this evolution, is that for brands, while these platforms are really incredible and the numbers are staggering, there's 70 million daily active users on Roblox alone, they're actually pretty hard to reach. And what we found is that building standalone experiences, although we love to make them, and sometimes they're exactly the right, beachhead for the brand and the program and everything they're trying to do, but we really need to try to go where audiences are and engage with them in an organic and meaningful way. So that's really what I'm excited about, is like, how do we go to where the audiences are? You can pause it just for a second. I'll let you know what you're sharing, if that's okay. So for us, we've built a network of about 4,000 games on Roblox that carry our SDK. So we can distribute different types of content to a massive network where there's huge audience. And kind of expanding on what Blake showed on like those immersive ads that go into games, we're building our own, almost like a modular experience that we're building on our own, that developers don't have to take on the headache for, and plugging that into a massive network. And that can manifest itself in consider it like a container that's like a blank slate. You could do anything in it. And obviously it comes back to music first for me. So what I've been thinking about, okay, well, how do we start to really engage these massive audiences without doing a huge heavy lift? Like Imagine Dragons was a standalone experience, and unlike other types of platforms, it's difficult to get that promotion. There are mechanics for it, but really it's like if you can put something in a game that's getting hundreds of thousands or maybe millions of players a day, that's awesome. So this is something that I wanted to show the community, a product that we've been working on called Sounds that is exactly that. It's a music experience that goes into existing games. In the game itself, there's like a little billboard, or it could be anything you want it to be, but when you go to it, like a teleport that takes you from inside a game to a different one, which is like a Roblox product, this is something we've created that just takes you right and keeps you right inside the game, but transports you to a different part of their world and a new experience that we've built. So let us show you Sounds, and within that, we just did a mock-up of this awesome young hip-hop artist, Tizo Touchdown, who's like on every record now. And within that, we made a gamification where there's like a dancing game. So this would be the game you're in. Oh, you just like jumped into our Sounds world. It's sponsored by Beats. And we can build this space out however anyone wants. We can put UGC goods in it. It's totally collaborative with our partners. And we feel like we can reach tens of millions of people in a much more cost-effective, quickly, not a huge build, doesn't take a tremendous amount of time. So, and we could do this with sports or beauty or whatever it may be, but this thing we're really excited about. And also I think what Blake touched on is really trying to deliver that, okay, so now we've actually been, if we're lucky, we're successful enough to engage with this audience, but then how do we work with them in what the brands really want to do, which is to continue to engage in the real world. And so we're very focused on loyalty and rewards and just user interaction that's not just in Roblox, but is engaging on they can bring people into stores or into a website or a mobile app. And I know Sawhorse is already, you guys are pioneering so much in that space, and we have a lot of We have a lot of proprietary tools as well, and I think we're all trying to create and figure out how to drive authentic experiences that improve the players' experiences, but then how do we continue that engagement?
No, and just to that's so awesome, because I think when you were saying, the standalone experience feels. I mean, there's definitely a time and a place for it, but I think where things are evolving is there's so many different ways to kind of use the platform to engage and to tell these stories. And yeah, like a big build isn't, we often, I think sometimes we say, there's in the education process, it's like, there's marketing for the marketing, and because who's going to come and how are you going to let the world know that you have this thing and that you've built this beautiful world? So then you really need to start engaging. And there's just, as more brands come and as these tools kind of sharpen, there's just so many different ways that people can show up, and also to test and learn. I mean, it's still innovation, Josh, I'm sure, with branded clients, it's like, we also say sometimes, the CEO won't know what it is unless there's a trailer, because they're not actually, maybe their kids will show it to them. So, you need all these proof points just to make it exist, even though, it had great traffic, it had great ratings. So, for us, trying to kind of, have that test and learn and bring brands and bring, different IP to the platform in a way where they can kind of be a part of it without the full commitment, but actually start to develop those relationships in the community and see what works for them.
Oh, that's amazing. And then both Blake and Josh with their companies, your guys are leading this industry. If we look at the history back, it started with creating branded worlds for the big brands, right? So it was huge learning. And then now I'm excited to see these cost-effective solutions coming up on these platforms, right? Because not many brands globally can afford huge budgets to create full worlds, or they are not ready to pay for it, right? And then these new ideas, which developed by these studios, you guys are so much helpful for many brands globally, not only US or European, but everybody will be able to enjoy this new opportunity. And Roblox is played out and Fortnite globally everywhere. It's not only some part of the world, right? So most of the Gen Alpha plays there in every part of the world. So it's exciting to hear, and sounds a very cool project. Can't wait to see it live.
So cool. Cool.
Amazing. And then this will lead me to another question to clear, right? Many of our listeners or the studios which are listening to us, or brands or agencies, what's the deadlines like to apply for the Webby Awards 2025, and what are the processes, right? So how they can be applying for the next year?
Yeah, so
this question goes to Claire. So if you can give us some details, for the new studios who want to join next year Webby Awards, what will be the process for them and deadlines?
So we're taking a little break. We take a little break after the show. The show was last week. And then we're planning for next year. So the call for entries for the 29th annual Webby Awards opens in September. Will be September 13th or something like that, around that date. And then the first deadline is the end of October. And then the final deadline is the end of the year. It's just the week before the holidays. And yeah, we're still working on, what will be the new recognitions. We'll likely expand, the AI categories. I'm having some ideas for new right now, and you guys are being very helpful for that. And yeah, it's really the what you can do to consider where you should be entering. You have to really think about what categories are right for your work. So these guys hit the nail on the head, right? Music and entertainment and brand integration, I think, is also one of my favorite categories, because it's so easy to create something where the brand brand the fit isn't quite right. But when you get it right, that's a super magical experience for people. So get the category right. We're always here to help with the category suggestions, and then make sure that the story that you're telling with the work, whether it's in a case study or just a page, is like really telling the reason why the project exists and showcasing the how the experience was put together. And I think that really goes a long way in terms of how the judges view your work.
Amazing.
Right.
Very, very
cool.
very, very.
That's very, very helpful. I appreciate you kind of like diving into that for everybody. Although Blake and Josh, I'm sure they've got the process down now. So, but would like to kind of like give each of you an opportunity. We're like 10 minutes or whatever from closing. So, kind of give each one of you an opportunity to make your own, let's say, little closing message. Any final thoughts that you have on either the Webby Awards or maybe what some of your plans are for what you're going to be entering next year or something like that. So, Blake, we'll start with you.
Well, I think, it's awesome to be recognized. The Webbies, we acknowledge the Webbies as, the most awesome of the awards. And anecdotally, we had won years ago for like a web series and a branded and a commercial Cadillac commercial. But because the studio and the agency put it up and we didn't know we could just get an award, we could just buy an additional award. So we kind of missed the train on those two. So we're really excited to actually have one in our hands. So that's very, very cool. But yeah, I mean, I think we all know the space is moving fast, and we're just, we're beyond lucky to be in the company of, Josh's company, and there's, a handful of other just amazing, trailblazers, and, we're kind of honored and humbled to be in that, in the space and be able to kind of like trade ideas. And it's a super open, we all kind of know each other, and it's just great it's a great community to be innovating in at this time. And, it reminds me of branded content 12 years ago as, and it just changes and it finds its fit and it marries other things, and then it kind of divorces them, and then it shrinks, and then it gets long form again. So there's just all these different iterations that I think we all we're going to be watching and experiencing and producing in real time. So that's probably the most exciting thing. And as new opportunities and tech evolves, we're all going to try it, and some are going to work and some aren't. And that's going to be part of the best. That's going to be some of the best part of it.
Yep. That's where the fun is. That's where the magic is. Yeah. So Josh, same question.
I don't know what else there is to say. I think they really summed it up very well. And yeah, it's absolutely an honor to be recognized by the Webbies. And as Claire said, there are a lot of entries out there. So, the fact that we all trickled up to the top for some of our work it's a great feeling. And to look at, who else we were in company with says a lot. And I do think that we're really still in a nascent space, and there's so much experimentation happening, and the sands are shifting. And I think that if you're a partner looking to get into the space, we want to be there to be your Sherpa into this world, and also to explain what the landscape is, and also to give you an understanding that we might succeed and we might fail as well to some degree, but it's like we're innovating here, and it's really like that is the space that we're in. And it's very important, I think, to set sail into this world now, and be a part of the community. These are real communities, and it's important to build your dialogue with your people out there. And I think that we're going to see tremendous technological advancements that, as Blake said, it's sort of like things are going to come together. AI will start to affect the way we build these worlds, but then maybe like other things will come into play, like real world connections or whatever it may be. But we're all just trying to figure it out together, and it's great to be a part of that community that, you know, is in that really interesting navigational space.
Yeah, that's cool. And
we'll be able to submit something to the Webbies that we've really, like, you know, you look at like the work that Sawhorse did for Fenty. There's so much that went into that and so much innovation. Like, what could we, you know, and I think there are certain things that we brought to the table for what we were recognized for as well, and Imagine Dragons and other work. What will we do next? I don't know, but it's really exciting to think about, like, you know, if we were sitting here a year from now, like, it's gonna, like you said, Dan, it's like 10 years of innovation that's probably gonna happen in the next 12 months.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think it's best if we should all come back in a year having won our next Webby.
Yes.
We can see how different those projects are from the ones that we submitted this year.
It will be so interesting. So next year, we should all collect together and see which projects are going to be happening in Webby Awards. And Claire, what you would say, like, from your side?
I mean, I think from the standpoint of what like Blake and Josh just said, I mean, there is so much innovation going on in the space. So, and you had kind of even teased it a little bit before in terms of like, you're constantly looking at the categories. So I do kind of feel like with so much innovation happening, it's probably somewhat of a challenge for you going forward, just kind of trying to understand where the innovation is and then what the category should be for that innovation.
Yeah, it's a lot of conversations like this, and a lot of like listening to what's going on and thinking about what's really being made right now, because you can look forward and see what is going to be made, but we need to be recognizing what's actually being made right now. But I just wanted to say thank you for this opportunity. It's been so fun to talk about the work and to have the spotlight on the Webby Awards. You know, one of the reasons that I fell in love with the internet like so many years ago was the kind of idea that it's new and it's a new horizon and it's interactive, and that means that this space is one of my favorite spaces on the internet, which is so massive now, and there's so much content and there's so many ways to use the internet, but this one is about interaction and play and community. And that's like an amazing thing, to be innovating in that space and being able to create new experiences for people and being able to, you know, collaborate with artists and musicians and brands to be able to create those music experiences is really incredible. I'm a bit jealous that you guys get to do that every day.
Totally. So again, all three of you, totally appreciate you being on the show. This has been a great show and so many insights. We're gonna segue right now in terms of like a couple messages for some like upcoming events. So first of all, for those of you who plan to be in Europe, the end of June, specifically June 27th and 28th, we would encourage you to attend SEG3 London. And here's a quick video that...
My favorite thing is just being able to see a lot of old faces, old friends, and being able to have conversations in length in person. That's such a welcome breath of fresh air.
Meet with the crowd in London and seems to put together a good group of people.
There's so many important stakeholders that come together at this event. You know, the leadership here, the conversations.
that's about London, and it's another celebration and co-building and community gathering in London. Unfortunately, I cannot make it to London this June. We have some cool things planned in June. We will be sharing it now, but I can't wait when Sex3 will be coming to Los Angeles again at the end of the year, and I'm sure we all will be there. And then, are you planning to go to London this June?
No, I will not. I will not be in London either. Unfortunately, I wish I could be. I love London. But the good news is that Noto and I will be in LA in June, actually Long Beach, actually. And we're going to be hosting our first ever Beyond Pixels show recorded in front of a live audience. And we're doing this in conjunction with AWE. So we have a limited number of reservations available. So if anyone is planning to attend AWE and is interested to attend, leave your comments, leave your information in the comments, and try to accommodate as many people as we can.
And additionally, what's very, very exciting, besides being our show first time in physical space, the show will take place on yacht for 110 people with unlimited cocktails and food for everybody. And we will be going through sailing for 3 hours, enjoying networking. And you all are invited, Blake, Josh, and Claire, if you will be in Long Beach, Los Angeles on 19th of June. And then every hour listener, please leave us a comment so we can invite you on the boat party. And then, yeah, can't wait to see you everybody on the physical celebration. We love virtual things, but physical is also always the best thing when you can network to each other. So, yeah.
Sawhorse will be at both of those events, but we'll be at AWE as well. And I think we're doing a panel as well. So we'll be on the boat for sure. Count us in.
Yeah, Noto will be doing a panel at AWE as well.
Right.
And what we're actually doing is we'll be filming our Beyond Pixels show on the boat. But as we could even see with some of the technical difficulties we had today, like filming on land, what we're going to do is we're going to film it, and then a week later we'll actually be having our regular Beyond Pixels event on the 26th of June. So it'll be like a week later. That'll be at 10 a.m. On the 26th. So, but anyway, hope you can all join us. And again, we're filming this right before Memorial Day in the U.S. So, I want to wish all of our panelists a happy Memorial Day, and all of our listeners, get out and enjoy. And again, thanks.
And until the next show.
Bon voyage and Beyond Pixels.
See you soon.